Last night, myself, my two dogs, and I evacuated with the Canadian Armed Forces, many fire support service personnel, and some remaining residents on the second Herc flight to Edmonton. We are thankful that Hay River has survived in much better condition than any of us imagined last night. There are still challenging days ahead, but it has been the work of the N.W.T. ECC fire crews from over a dozen other communities, the military, and especially our Hay River department, under Chief Travis Wright, that we have a much brighter situation than it might have been. We had 61 evacuated last night on the first flight, and 105 military and a few others of us. But they sent them on to Calgary. So the team here on the ground, Alberta, has done a phenomenal job accommodating our residents and are still working very hard for the people of my community, and I can't thank them enough for what they have done. Yes, to those that haven't left, to be very aware of what's going on. We are going to, I was in a briefing this morning, and we've got another day to recover, and those are the days that these guys get a lot of work done. And as you can tell by what happened last night, that worked, you know, cutting those fire breaks, laying down retardant, watering some more. So those efforts definitely paid off. The work that was done on these days where, you know, you can see, you can get aircraft in the air. We know what's going on with the fire and what she's doing. And so yeah. But as for other people in the community, my message would be, like, really be aware of what's going on. Stay tuned in to, you know, and if at all possible, please leave the community. I can't stress that enough. Like, this thing is, the whole south of our community has fire that's, you know, some of it's sleeping, some of it's active, and I guess we'll find out shortly where it's at and where it's active. We did know that the west part of this was going to be an issue, and the south side as well. You know, it's running parallel to the highway out there, highway to Fort Res and Fort Smith. So it hopped in a couple places last night. So yeah, be very aware before you decide to drive south, because of course it's the conditions change all the time. It was a roller coaster. To look out the window and see that fire roaring towards your town was something I will never forget. It was, you know, I felt like I was abandoning the people that were working the hardest for us, and that was a really tough one to come to terms with. But it was time. It was time to get out. It was not a good situation, and like I said, those guys were. I would follow them into any storm. They were amazing. They're professional, and they handle it with such grace, and still teasing me about where are they going to eat supper. So yeah. It was tough to leave. You've made relationships. I've learned more in the last 2 weeks about fire than I ever hope to have to use again. But yeah.